Hello, everybody. I wasn't going to do any reports on this uh, until I got more facts, but feel like maybe I should. Um, this is about Matt Gates. Uh, this is what's going on with him. Uh, his sexcapades, maybe, of having two women flown for sex. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Matt Gaetz is concerned. So you know by now that the House Ethics Committee is sitting on a report outlining Matt Gaetz's reported sexual misconduct with a minor. The committee was supposed to meet on Friday of last week. That meeting was rescheduled amid a pressure campaign by the broader Republican Party that...
What I want is fucking fast and proof, though.
Of course, was content to do Donald Trump's bidding and swoop in to rescue his embattled Attorney General nominee. The first update is that committee will now meet on Wednesday of this week to determine next steps, which is good news. The second update is probably even better, because Republican Ethics Committee Chairman Michael Guest spoke with Speaker Johnson, who of course reiterated his call not to release the report, with Guest saying, "I appreciate Mike reaching out. I don't see it having an impact on what we as a committee ultimately decide." I should also note that this committee is split equally, 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans, and the fact that this committee continued its work on Matt Gaetz even after the DOJ dropped its charges into him is a testament to how seriously they are taking this issue, regardless of the committee's partisan makeup. Now,
this is the thing, is because the Judiciary Committee has been, a lot of that's Democrat, is liberal. So for them not to issue charges, that says a lot. But
Johnson, for his part, is pushing back on criticism that he's trying to influence the Ethics Committee's ultimate decision, telling reporters that he does not have the authority to dictate anything to the Ethics Committee. Quote, "I'm not telling the Ethics Committee what to do. It is not my place to do so. I've been very clear. I'm merely responding to the questions that every single media outlet in America is asking me." Right, he's not trying to influence the committee. He's simply telling people in his conference his stance as the top Republican in the party for the mere satisfaction of engaging in conversation. He's definitely totally not using his position of power.
Isn't something, though? We look at these politicians, though, and it's both sides, that get caught with their pants down, and so I mean, for one side to say that they're holier than thou, I wish they'd shut the fuck up a lot. I need to see proof, not talk, about what's going on. I want to see actual legal paper, and I think that this should be let out about the facts. If there was wrongdoing, then there needs to be, real legal, like I said, paperwork done and stuff like that. Keep in mind, like I said, there is hush money funds, hundreds of millions of dollars, actually it's probably I think $200 million hush money fund that both Democrats and Republicans can use in the House and Senate, and they have this called hush money fund, like I keep saying. And so I mean, both sides are
power to influence anyone. He's simply engaging in an exchange of ideas with no agenda whatsoever. God.
That's what politicians do. An exchange of ideas, they lie to the people. That's what they do. They say, "Oh, we're to get this password for the people. We do this and do that."
And it's not just Mike Johnson not trying to influence anyone. Donald Trump himself is also not trying to influence his party. According to Axios, he's calling Senate Republicans to pressure them into confirming Matt Gaetz. Kevin Cramer, for example, said he clearly wants Matt Gaetz. He believes Matt Gaetz is the one person who will have all the fearlessness and ferociousness, really, to do what needs doing at the Department of Justice. One thing about Donald Trump, people should never confuse his support for one of his nominees as a tactical or strategic tool for somebody else. And at least to this point, he's putting his own political capital behind it. And he's a pretty persuasive guy. And if you listen closely enough, you can actually hear this grown-ass man's spine turn from a solid to a liquid in real time. Pretty impressive stuff. I suppose this would be a good time to remind everyone that Senate Republicans are not only a co-equal branch of government, but 2/3 of them aren't even up for re-election in the Trump era. Someone, please, tell these people that they don't have to be afraid anymore. It's okay. Now, I should note that there is a secondary reason that Trump is pushing to get Gates confirmed, and it flies directly in the face of what Kevin Cramer just said. According to the New York Times, but Mr. Trump has shown no sign of withdrawing the nomination, which speaks volumes about his mindset as he staffs his second administration. He is making calls on Mr. Gates' behalf, and he remains confident that even if Mr. Gates does not make it, the standard for an acceptable candidate will have shifted so much that the Senate may simply approve his other nominees who have appalled much of Washington. I have been saying for days that the luckiest person in DC is Pete Hegseth, the Weekend Fox and Friends host and a uniquely unqualified nominee who, after the Gates nomination and the Tulsi Gabbard nomination, suddenly looks like Winston Churchill. And considering even Trump knows that the Democrats have to choose their battles and can't offer outcry against everyone, that if the bar becomes Matt Gaetz, then relative to that bar, suddenly damn near everybody looks palatable by comparison. There is really no downside as far as Trump is concerned. Best case scenario, he gets a complete and total groveling sycophant and loyalist in charge of the DOJ and turns the department into his own personal retribution force. And worst case, he dilutes the sense of incompetence of every other nominee, and folks like Tulsi and Art.
Let me see here what, because I want to. Yeah, I'm cheating. Sue me. Let's see. Johnson opposes release. This is.
Picked up on exactly that point of there being precedent too.
This has happened a number of times with a Republican senator when he left for the good of the public. The report was released, and a Democrat in the House of Representatives once left, and the report was released after.
There is literally precedent for releasing damaging reports. And so now, not only is it common sense to release this report, given the fact that Gates was nominated for Attorney General and the Senate has a vested interest in being able to properly vet him, but there's actually no reason that the House should bury it at all. It is not only the obvious thing to do, but there is precedent to do it. Granted, it's one thing to show clips of former Republicans who've suddenly found their tongues again and current Democrats who, of course, can tell right from wrong. Because, frankly, the guy I'm about to show you is probably more representative of today's Republican Party.
Well, it's my understanding that is not supposed to go public. So if it's not supposed to under the rules, it shouldn't go public. And what I know about Matt Gaetz is one of the best members we had on our committee. In my time in Congress, which has been a while, I don't know, there are very few people who have the cross-examination skills he does. And I want someone in the Justice Department who's not going to say moms and dads at school board meeting needs to be investigated. I want someone at the Justice Department who's going to say it's wrong for the FBI to do a memorandum and say that pro-life Catholics are extremists. I want someone at the Justice Department who can tell us who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, who leaked the Dobbs opinion, who put cocaine at the White House, instead of all the other stuff they seem to be focused on.
Just one guy who ignored sexual misconduct advocating for ignoring more sexual misconduct. Surprise, surprise. If nothing else, at least they're consistent. So all eyes will remain on the House Ethics Committee this Wednesday for the hopeful...
Isn't this what both sides do? You got Bill Clinton and you got... I've heard stuff about even Obama and stuff, and of course Biden. Biden going after little girls and stuff. But both sides, let's go after both sides instead of just playing politics. Though let's be honest about everybody here. There's dirty, rotten scoundrels everywhere. And, let me see here, man. Let me see if I can get this here. Boom, boom, boom. Attorney says Matt Gaetz paid both his clients for sex. Ain't that something?
President-elect Donald Trump is reportedly making phone.
Winston Churchill.
There's lots of phone calls. Lots of phone calls taking place. Let's see what. And I don't believe anything that these news networks really say. Really? His clients for sex? I mean, wow. I mean, if he did, it's like,
this news
I
from
could care
President-elect Trump.
less. I could honestly care less. If a representative
tomorrow, the House Ethics Committee
pays what they do on their own time, their own freaking business. That's just me, all right? I don't care. As long as they do the will of the people and got the people's backs, what they do in their private time, I don't give a shit. If they pay somebody to have sex, I don't give a shit. Okay? Are they doing the people's bidding? Or do they have the people's backs? That's the big question. All right? And that's what I care about. 17. That's going to be something.
Explosive new allegations tonight against President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General.
Terrence Lee has been looking into the claims against former Congressman Matt Gaetz. What have you learned?
Dawn Scott, new reports out tonight say two women represented by a Florida attorney told House Ethics Committee investigators Gaetz paid them for sex. One of the women also claimed she saw Gaetz having sex with a 17-year-old, but said he stopped once he learned her age. Gaetz resigned from Congress last week, 2 days before a House ethics report about the alleged sexual encounter with the teenager could be released. Even though his resignation stops that report from going public, some Republicans still want to see it before he's confirmed to head the same agency that once investigated him. But House Speaker Mike Johnson says the committee's findings shouldn't be released at all.
I believe in the principle of a new president being able to choose his team.
Matt Gaetz is going to go through the same scrutiny as every other individual. That should be definitely part of our decision making.
What he wants to do with these nominees is establish that the Congress of the United States will not stand up to him with anything. If they will confirm Matt Gaetz, they will do anything he wants.
Gaetz denies any wrongdoing. Trump's team is backing him, calling the allegations baseless tonight.
Hoax of Russia and everything. Look who's talking, dude. You're the worst. But I mean, Attorney General, they need to be scrutinized. I mean, again, I don't really care. I don't give a shit if somebody pays. Listen, so what? You know, I mean, that's sex. So fucking what? What's that? I mean, that's just me. I don't give a shit if somebody pays. That's their own fucking business. That's me, you know. Anyways, take care, everybody.